Book review. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about Virtual Light by William Gibson. I just finished this book in like a week. This book was really fun. This shit was awesome. I wanted to go in and sing its praises because this was really good. This is the second Gibson book I've read. I've read Neuromancer. I took a break after Neuromancer to read some other sci-fi, and just recently I had this in my collection and I picked it up after finishing Where the Axes Bury, and man, this was a fun book. This one was pretty awesome. If I were to put it in a way, it's like a lot faster than Neuromancer. If any of y'all have read Neuromancer, Neuromancer is incredible. I'm gonna also do a review on Neuromancer eventually, but the pacing of this book is fast, and I enjoy that. I very much appreciate that about this book. The characters you're following, the story, like, it's very suspenseful. Gibson has a really good way of writing suspense and keeping you on edge. But no, for real, seriously, this book was a great time. I very much enjoyed reading this. I flew through it in like 4 or 5 days, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Heavy spoiler warning, because I will get into more details about this book as we progress and talk about it. But I will say, highly recommend, if you want to read this book, definitely go pick up this book and read Neuromancer. But if you want to read something that's, how do I put it? It's just a wild ride. It's a wild ride. It's a nice book. It's very enjoyable experience. As opposed to Neuromancer, which is also a very wild ride of a book, but it makes you ask a bit more questions about things going on. There's a lot of weird metaphysical stuff you got to think about or whatever with Neuromancer. But this one, it's kind of straightforward. You're following two characters, mostly two characters. You're following this character named Rydell, who's this sort of like rent-a-cop situation as he's described. He's a little bit less than an average cop. He was a cop at one point, but lost his job because of a job he was on where he had to kill a man, but the wife of that family, who, hold on, towards the beginning of the book you read about how Rydell goes on this job where there's this crazed man, and it appears that he's like threatening his family in the apartment, or he's gone mad. He's like talking nonsense, talking about how he needs to talk to the president or whatever the case may be, and Rydell's in the room trying to reason with this man, and he could see the wife laid out on the floor, not moving, and Rydell's asking the crazy dude, like, where's the kids? It's implied he has like 2 kids. The guy shoots a makeshift gun, like a can shooting device situation at his closet, and you hear the 2 children scream. It's very intense, the first introduction to the world and our characters here. But Rydell has to make a choice, and he ends up killing that man. But after the fact, a TV crew eventually approaches him and talks to him because the woman of the family tries to sue Rydell for killing the husband. And he basically loses his cop job, like his actual cop job, and then his boss is like offering him all sorts of other positions and basically trying to tell him that we can make you like a mall cop, essentially. And he doesn't want to do that. So like, he gets like transferred to Los Angeles, and he's following the TV crew. There's a TV show called Cops in Trouble that Rydell used to watch with his father growing up, and he was surprised that he himself would grow up one day to be on that show. Very wild introduction, and you kind of fall into the story very quickly. Like the pacing, I want to sing the praises for this, the pacing of this book. It's very fast. Like, if you just fly through this book, well, a way I like to explain books, it's almost funny. After I finish a book, I ask myself, would this be a movie, or would it be like a 12-episode series or something like that? And I feel like Virtual Light would be a very good, like, 2.5-hour movie. You know, a little on the long side, but I feel like that's, as I read it, the way I read it, the pacing, it felt quick, as opposed to, like, a good example, you should watch my review for Where the Axes Bury. But Where the Axes Buried by Ray Naylor, very incredible book, but there's a lot going on, and if I were to see that thing adapted, I would probably want to see that adapted as like a show, because there's a lot going on in Where the Axes Buried. Not to say that every book needs to be adapted, but just to give a point on the pacing of this book. It's very quick. Like, I was thrown into all of everything I've just explained within the first couple chapters. Not to explain too much on Rydell yet, but there's also the other character we follow, Chevette, who's this like messenger bike girl who goes across San Francisco, delivering and pickups for quick mail across the city, and she usually is doing these jobs for people who are a lot richer and just need stuff passed across the city quick, whatever the case may be. And the setting of San Francisco is very interesting because where she lives, she lives on, I think it's implied that it's the Golden Gate Bridge, and that people have set up settlements and encampments on the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a very interesting concept that like the visuals of that bridge, just like with a huge sense of community on it, like way in the future, and all these people like sustain it to keep it functional. And it's wild. You read later that there's like a storm and stuff that happens, and it like fucks up a bunch of establishments on the bridge. It's very interesting. You get a few perspectives. Oh, I didn't even mention there is a third character. I think his name is Yamazaki, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Yamazaki is a very interesting character in the book too. He's kind of this third character that is slightly involved in the story, not so much involved in Rydell and Chevette's life, but we get his perspective. He's a reporter on the bridge. He's trying to document information about the culture and the people who live on the bridge. And through his journaling, we get to understand a little bit more about the world and the people that live here, that live on the bridge. And eventually he does take up a more important role towards the end of the book. But it was interesting to see all those perspectives, or not perspectives, all of the detail of the imagery of the bridge that you get through Yamazaki's story in this book. But to circle back, Chevette's character is very interesting because she ends up taking a messenger job where she rides towards like a crazy high-end party. It's a bunch of rich people, and she's supposed to be in and out of there quick, but she bumps into this one rich dude. He kind of gives her a little bit of attitude because of their interaction. They bumped into each other in the party, and he comes off as like kind of an asshole. And so she notices a little something sticking out of his pocket, so she swipes it before leaving. So she steals something from the guy. But when she finds out later that was a very important thing that she should not have stolen. And as the story progresses, you find out that Rydell in Los Angeles was met by, I think his old boss spoke to him and was like, look man, if you're not trying to do this mall cop thing, I got this sort of odd job situation you can do. And Rydell's asking if it's legal, and he's like, dude, don't worry about it, it's totally legal, it's just you gotta meet with these dudes, they're looking for something. Apparently this rich guy lost a thing, and we're just looking for the person who stole it, man. You just gotta go, all you gotta do is drive. Rydell, when he was a cop, he just mostly enjoyed driving as a cop. He wanted to protect and serve and do things the right way, and he used to ride. Oh yeah, he used to ride with his buddy Sublet. This is this other character named Sublet who was his partner when he was doing the whole cop thing. I think he said his goodbyes to Sublet in Florida, and then Sublet later you find out Sublet was a very interesting character. He's like obsessed with movies and everything. His family's like super religious. They follow this like Reverend Fallon guy who like talks about like how God speaks through television or something like that. It's very interesting. So Sublet eventually goes to Los Angeles as well, but he ends up living with his mother, taking care of his mother, who is also very religious. Like the community they live in have like extreme rules and stuff. Sublet even gets in trouble for watching certain movies, and they call him like an apostle or something, or for watching bad movies or something. Sublet was a very interesting character. He comes up later in the book as well. But in Rydell's case, he accepts this weird odd job situation that his boss talks to him about, and he ends up meeting with this crew of I guess these sort of rent-a-cop kind of people. They're not necessarily cops, but they're hired by this company called Intent Secure, which also runs the cop agency or something like that. There's a bunch of corporations that basically supply different types of police force in this universe. I think that's how that's explained in here. But Rydell meets up with this one dude named War Baby and these two Russian dudes named Orlovsky, and I forgot the other guy's name. And there's another dude named Frankie in the crew, and Frankie's like a techie dude. He's got like a laptop. The Russian dudes, they're very like intimidating and everything. They like, it's implied that they're not very nice rent-a-cops. And War Baby's a very interesting character. He's like this big, like burly character with like a cane situation because he messed up his leg. And every time he shows up almost extremely sad, it's implied. As William Gibson describes, his voice is very sad all the time. And when he talks to Rydell, he's like, just drive the car, Rydell. Like, it's very interesting, War Baby's character. Even though he's, like, technically implied to be one of the bad guys, I enjoyed War Baby's character. I thought he was very interesting. But for our characters' stories here, they converge eventually when you find out, well, it's implied through most of the story, that the people they're looking for is Chevette, the character who stole the thing, and she didn't really know what she stole. She was just trying to get back at this asshole that she bumped into in the party, which, granted, yeah, that's terrible, but these people have painted a story because a man got murdered, or the guy got murdered who wanted the glasses, and so, there was a lot of people who wanted these. The item she stole was a pair of virtual reality glasses. The glasses are important because they connect to some sort of like network that like all these people, or the rich people, use, and it's very important that those glasses, they're like data glasses or something. It's Gibson's perspective on VR. I think that it was very interesting that it was like a high class item that not many people recognize. Like even Chevette, when she like first opens this thing that she stole, it's a little case, and she pulls out these like almost graphite looking glasses, and they're almost a little too heavy, and she tries to look through them and she can't because they're not regular glasses. She's like, what are these for like welding or something? And one of her friends named Sammy Sal like explains to her that, oh, that's a rich thing. You stole that from some rich dude. Oh, you in trouble, girl. You should not have touched that. Sammy Sal's character is funny too. He's like another messenger character who like rides around in the community doing the same thing that Chevette does. He explains to Chevette that like, yeah, you shouldn't have stolen that. And Rydell's character and characters he's hanging out with, like War Baby, they're explaining to him, like the Russians and the dude Frankie, they're telling him that this woman killed a bunch of people, and she killed this one person and stole the glasses, and we have to get her, and they're like painting this picture of her. And Rydell kind of like, he's almost like, he doesn't really believe them really, like he's like, okay, maybe they might be exaggerating kind of situation. So when they finally do hunt down Chevette and find her on the bridge, she's like running around because she knows she's being followed. There was this other character named Loveless who found where she lived because that Yamazaki character, the reporter dude, he spoke to this old guy that Chevette lives with, this old dude named Skinner. They have like a house on the bridge on one of the support parts of the structure, and Yamazaki, innocently thinking that this dude named Loveless was just some guy who wanted to ask questions, brought Loveless to Chevette's house and threatened her and threatened Skinner and threatened Yamazaki for the glasses. Like he almost killed all of them, and she eventually escapes. She escaped because before she went home to Skinner, before Yamazaki showed up with Loveless, she went home with Sammy Sal, and they were trying to figure out what to do with the VR glasses. They were like hanging out on the roof of the house when Loveless showed up, and Loveless called Chevette down to give him the glasses and threatening everybody in the room. But he didn't know Sammy Sal was there, so the whole time Sammy Sal was on the roof, and as she goes to escape, Sammy Sal takes a bullet for Chevette. He gets shot, and Chevette gets to escape, and it's extremely intense. It's like raining and storming across the bridge. It's not it's not the right time to be running around, and she's trying to find a place to hide. So she's like going to all these different people, going to all these different places, and she eventually gets confronted by the Russian dudes in Rydell's group, and they nab her, and they're just scooping her up, trying to take her to the car. They're trying to bring her to War Baby, and Rydell's watching this whole thing, and he's like asking, he's like, is this right? Like we didn't even read her Miranda rights. Like, what's going on here? Like what's what are we doing? And the Russian dudes are kind of just laughing at Rydell because they're like, yeah, yeah, right, sure. And they're like going to War Baby, and War Baby's like, just get in the car, Rydell. Like, let's just drive. Like, let's just go, man. Like, and he's doing that whole sad face thing. And Rydell, in like the heat of the moment, he takes Chevette and puts her in the car, but he's zooms away. Like, he causes the whole confrontation. A bunch of people on the bridge were watching all of this too, and they see the commotion, and they're like, they see Chevette's getting like all captured and everything, so they start attacking the Russian dudes and War Baby. And Rydell's driving off with Chevette, and Chevette's like, what the hell are you doing to me, or whatever, get me out of this car. And she doesn't realize Rydell's trying to save her life, and he's like sacrificing his whole job here. Like I said before, the pacing of this book, I was stuck on it the whole time. I don't want to get into too much detail because the ending was very satisfying. It kind of wraps up very, very nicely. Like it ties up all the loose ends right at the end. It's very, very interesting. This book was like really fun. I don't know how else to describe it other than fun. Like, I enjoyed this whole experience, all the characters, the imagery of this book. Like, it was very quick and easy to form all the imagery while reading. I was just flying through this. Like I said, I read it in like 4 or 5 days. So if I'm being totally honest, I very much enjoyed Neuromancer, so I'm probably going to give that a higher rating than this book. But if you want something that's quick and you're pulled in the whole time, if you really enjoy sci-fi that's like fast paced and like quick to follow, then Virtual Light is an incredible book for you to read. And because of that, I think I will give this book a 8.5 or like a 9 out of 10. Maybe I'll just stick with like a 9 out of 10 because maybe I'm biased because I really enjoyed Neuromancer. I love Gibson's writing. This book, yeah, I think we'll stick with a 9 out of 10. You should definitely read Virtual Light. Pick up this book and just enjoy the story. I know my disconjointed explanation of this is probably not going to do it justice, but definitely go and pick up this book for yourself. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I had such a good time reading this book that my only thing is I think I wish it was just a little longer, maybe, you know? Because the ending, as nice as it was, wrapped things up. I wish I could have seen a little more of what happens after this book. And it was fun. Very, very interesting book. Solid 9 out of 10, sure. Virtual Light by William Gibson, everybody. If you like this video, I'm sure you like all the other videos on the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye. Oh, more sci-fi. Whoa. Is he going to read anything other than sci-fi? Yes, actually. I'm going to show... there's a little sneak preview of another book that I want to review soon. I'll just show this as like a hint of the book that I want to review next time. Yeah, there you go. Sneak preview. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Skibbity bibbity woobity skibbity hoo doo hoo doo just skoob doo hoo doo. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, hey, whoa.